Welcome to this session of PowerApps ALM. In this session, we'll cover source code management, including tools and a demo. My name is Ali Yousefi. I'm a Principal Cloud Solution Architect with Microsoft. You'll find my email and LinkedIn information on this slide. Some of my certifications include Azure DevOps, Azure Solutions, Dynamics and Power Platform, Architects, as well as MCT, and then some MCSE Cloud Platform Infrastructure Business Applications. We'll start with an overview, look at some of the benefits of source control management, talk about the tools we'll be using, and then finally wrap up with a demo. Start with an overview. So for PowerApps source code, some of the benefits for that is that we can capture any changes that have been made to the behavior of the app. So you can see in this screenshot, we have a button that has an onSelect property. So when the button's clicked, in this case, we see we're going to be updating an account record. And in this case, we're doing the account name. But what if we want to track to see if there was maybe additional properties that were originally being updated, or we want to track when maybe potentially there was a bug or issue came up from some sort of change to this patch? Well, we can refer back to the different commits we've had within source control. So it really helps us in that particular area to be able to see what's changed and how we can quickly remediate that. On the capture the changing of the source code for PowerApps, and we now have the ability to add gates to ensure quality. So with looking at source, as we have developers building source, being able to commit that source directly to the source control before it gets recompiled into an app, we can add quality gates. We can do things like run static code analysis. We can trigger automation. So like, for instance, having pull requests that require approvals, require some automation to happen. So as you can see here on the picture on the right, we can show sort of what it looks like when it's checked into repo, but it definitely gives us some of the benefits to add these quality gates. Finally, one of the main benefits I see here is where we can see the YAML. We can actually see what's happening there. So this button 1 onSelect has a creating issue flow. So we can see that it's tied to a flow, which that's fine. We saw that earlier. But look at the top of this picture. We now see the creating issue flow. We were able to search this particular line. Like maybe we wanted to find where is a flow, how is it being used across all our apps? Well, by having the PowerApps source code extracted like this, I'm able to see that it's within this Canvas app and flow app here, referenced in different areas as well. So imagine if you had this flow within multiple apps. By quickly doing this, I could search and see exactly not only what app it's in, but where is it. So it's on screen 1 and it's being used on this button. Very, very beneficial and something I would highly recommend doing. Let's take a look at some of the tools we can use to work with PowerApps source code. So I've listed out the 3 major source code tools that I'm aware of. And I would say sort of the order that I would recommend them, with the primary recommendation being the PAC CLI. That's where the investment from Microsoft seems to be going. It does work with build tools. Build tools, in fact, the newer versions will work using the PAC CLI. The PAC CLI gives us opportunities to build solutions from scratch, build plugins from scratch, build apps locally, as well as when we have something maybe built within Power Platform. So for instance, you may have a user who has built a app within the personal productivity environment, and then you now need to put those into a sort of enterprise solution. So I need to move those into a traditional swim lane where we would have development and then testing and production. The PAC CLI has techniques to be able to export apps, or even take apps that have been downloaded and be able to add them into solutions, put them into development. What we're going to do on the following demos, we're going to use PAC CLI to show how you can work with an application within a solution be able to extract it down to the actual elements within the application itself. And that'll help with searching for common controls across apps and so on. Power Platform Build Tools was one of the earlier Microsoft DevOps or ALM tools that were available. You can use them in both the Azure DevOps pipelines, GitHub workflows. There's a newer version out. We started with, I think, V0. Now there's a V1 or V2 of them. But it has very similar movements, right? So being able to export solutions, unpack solutions, pack solutions, import solutions, version solutions, all of that kind of stuff. Finally, there's the PowerApps language tooling. This, I believe, is what PAC CLI is wrapped around to help have a sort of consistent CLI. But there is source code for something called PowerApps language tooling. We'll take a look at that as well. We'll look at all of them during the demo, just so you're aware of all the options that you have. All right, let's take a look at the three tools we have: the PAC CLI, Power Platform Build Tools, and the PowerApps language tooling, and then we'll do a demo using PAC CLI. Okay, in this demo, we're going to look at several tools that are available for developers, administrators, and DevOps engineers to work with Power Platform and the customizations that are available. So the first one we have up on the screen is called Power Platform Actions. That one's available for GitHub workflows, right? So there's actions within. So if we go to the marketplace, you can find the Power Platform Actions. We can see a nice example here, as well as documentation on how to set up the authentication. We can see you can show how to export a solution, how to unpack a solution, how to publish, and then be able to prepare it for check-in into source. So this is a very good straight-up solution YAML that you can pull and put into your GitHub. So I highly recommend looking at this if you are working with GitHub workflows. This will allow you to unpack it. And then once you've unpacked it and committed it to source, you can simply clone that source down or fork that source, work with your code, and then submit a pull request to pull back into your development trunk. So another tool, well, this is the same sort of tool, but it's for Azure DevOps. We have the Microsoft Power Platform Build Tools. And here you see what is version 2. It has a different, little bit different. The big one here is that it works with the PAC CLI. Important, you can't mix and match your task versions, but you can see here, similar to GitHub, you have YAML that you can put. This one has a sort of a helper, if you will, visualization helper to kind of drag the steps within. GitHub does as well, but just so you can see here, DevOps calls that out. Tells you how to connect using service principles, which are recommended to do. Here's some frequently asked questions. Why is it based on PAC CLI or PowerShell? Multi-platform, right? So it'll work with Linux-based OSs and can run on, yeah, exactly right. And Linux runners can run on different types of containers and so on here. So that's just the Power Platform build tools. You can go to the task here, and it'll show you how to work with the different tasks, like who am I? Power Platform checker is important. We're going to look at solutions. I think there might be a list here. Solution environment task. So solution task, import solution, and all the different parameters that are needed here. So I highly recommend that. We're actually going to go one level deeper to the underlying CLI that's used, which is, in this case, references the Power Platform CLI, but we're calling it the PAC CLI. Before we go into that demo, I just kind of want to show some other stuff we have here. So here's the Power Platform for VS Code, which I'll show you the actual how it is, but this is all open source and it's available on GitHub. The PowerApps language tooling is the tool that the PAC CLI actually uses. So if you go look at the PAC CLI, see right here, Power Platform CLI usage, this shows how to unpack. So if you ever did run into an issue with even, say, the unpacking of the Canvas app, for instance, you can go to this code here, clone this, and actually debug it. And if there's anything you could fix it and then push back into this here. But this is the this is the core executable that's used by the CLI here. So we've covered that, and there, what happens is it generates a PA over here. So we've covered that. Let's actually move into working with the source here. So what I have is Visual Studio Code opened up here. I've installed an extension called the Power Platform Tools. It allows us to create solutions, packages, maintain environments, and edit portals. You can see here on the left, Power Platform, I have Connect, and I can go to my different solutions I have in here. So if I want to go see the one we're going to be working with, this is Canvas App Development Workshop. You can see it's version 1.002. Copy the unique name, for instance, so I can work with it in the terminal. When you install this, you get the PAC CLI also installed, which is what we'll be using here. So I'm going to pivot over. So as a developer, what I'm tasked with here is that I have a GitHub repo that I have built say a maker has built an app within an environment. I'm going to export that app into as a solution locally, extract that a solution including the Canvas app. And this one's key because we're not just going to extract as the MS app or package, we're going to actually extract further down. And the reason for that is that when we commit that back into source, or even when we have it locally, we can search pretty much every single screen object within the Canvas app. So if you're ever in a spot where you're trying to troubleshoot, where maybe an app is using flows, or a flow is used across multiple apps, or some functionality, I need to go see where I'm patching accounts or patching contacts or any functionality. You can actually, by extracting it to that level, you'll be able to search across all of these, as well as look at is the user applying your theming, and you could apply theming and pack it back. So there's a few ones we're going to want to work with. There's the PAC solution export and the PAC solution unpack. So in my case here, I am in a apps folder, which you see here is currently empty. What I'm going to do is connect to a solution. I should be able to. I copied the unique name. If I just copy this out and right click, let's see if it kept it, and it did just fine. So in this case, I'm going to say my path is just going to be the folder I'm in, apps, and then here's the name of the solution. If I want to do the managed, I can do this as well. We're going to first try to export the unmanaged solution here. So we'll start the solution export. So it shows you, you're connected to and who you're connected as. Okay, so now we're done. We've exported succeeded, and now we can see the zip files here. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and extract the managed as well. Let me go ahead and do that. So just put the -m, and we'll connect and start solution. You'll see a _managed. So, yep. So this went ahead and downloaded. So while this is downloading, I do want to call out that the movement of solutions across environments should always be automated through our traditional sort of operational excellence through traditional ALM practices. So what we're doing here is just simply show you as a developer how you can bring it locally, extract. So we've got the zip files here. These are solutions. They're not unpacked or anything. So we're going to actually unpack it. And I went ahead and put these both in here just to show you. So we have solution, you have the unpack. So here's the zip file. We're going to do a folder. So there's no folder here. We're going to create a new folder called Canvas App Development Workshop, name of the solution. That's how I traditionally do it. In this case, since I have both, I'll do both. You can say unmanaged or managed. And then this one's in preview, the -PCA. This is to extract the Canvas app, and that's going to be using that PowerApps language tooling we talked about. So let's go ahead and hit this. And we can see skipping localization, it's unpacking, so this one's using it here. So it's extracted, very nice, very quick. We have a folder inside of apps folder that says Canvas App Development Workshop. We see some customization, some Canvas apps. So it's got some neat Canvas apps. It shows us that the app is still here. So I have the MS app, which won't be showing me much of anything. I have actually two apps in here. I have a test harness, and a development workshop. And the reason for that is in the source here, as you can see, test harness, development workshop, is that I wanted to do a quick search. So in my case, say I'm running a test and it's failing, saying this flow is causing an issue, but I don't really know where the flow is at. I mean, I know the test is here, or I know the app is here, but I don't know where that flow is. Like say my test is saying, go open up this screen, click this button, and it goes and does some work, but then I'm getting an error message and I'm trying to figure out what it is. So I'm gonna try to search within this code for possibly, let's see, we're gonna search for flow. Well, we didn't see that here. We'll look for some other flows. Let's see. Okay, so I hit Control-Shift-F to go find any flow, because I know flow. What do I know about flows? Flows, when they're in apps, traditionally use this run function, something like this, which you see it'll go away, but they do run. So in my case, what I know is that this flow is telling me that I have run, I've put in a bad parameter, and I know the bad parameter is invalid text. And this is an example, but just imagine this here. So I can, quickly see within that the one that's correct is test. That works fine, but here's the invalid text. So by extracting and having this locally, I'm now able to say, oh, button flow on, we scroll up, on screen 1 within test harness. So I was able to find exactly where and what button and what property on that button invokes it. So on select of a button flow that, or a button that's named button flow, that's called flow, has this on select. So that worked great here. And I can also do things like, I want to see, show me where you're doing some patching. Oops. Patch on. So then I can see, okay, the Canvas App Development Workshop on screen 1 and screen 1 both has this here. Button 2 has it. Button 2 here has it as well. If I just want to look at any patches that are happening, oh, now I see there's screen 1, there's this. One thing also, it's very neat, I'm glad this called out. So when you extract your app, you'll see that you'll get an app checker result. It's actually very nice. Let's go look for that app result here. Where is it? Let's go back to our find. It is in, all right, let's go back here and look. So it will be right here. So for each one of these, I could see what rules have been called out. So results here. So here's an issue. Suggest remote execution hint. So in this case, it's saying that we have a rule that's being violated on screen 1, import 1 on select. Error operator expected. So it's just, you can kind of go through this sarif file and actually put this back into source. And we'll probably cover that on a different recording. But once I've done that, now I have this checked in. I can simply go in and check this into my test and say adding apps to repo, just for an example here. Sync our we can see that I've just now synced adding unpacked apps to repo. So now if I want to do that same search, like say I want to do the run. Let's see, make this work. Okay, took a little bit to index the code that we had done, but I can search for screen 1. I can do the .run, and it'll go find respond with error code. Process flow run. Very interesting how what it can do here. So just by checking that in, extracting the code, we're able to quickly find where flows are at, where certain maybe somebody's not calling something button 1, and we know we can't do that, or calling it screen 1, because that's for accessibility. We don't want to necessarily call something just screen 1. So we want to fix that to be descriptive for screen readers and things like that. Hope it's been helpful. Thank you. Well, we've made it to the end. I really appreciate you watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Again, my name is Ali Yousefi. I am a cloud solution architect at Microsoft. You have my information on this channel. You have my information at the beginning of this video. I look forward to hearing from you if this was helpful. If you found anything that was maybe off or has changed since I've recorded this, please don't hesitate to leave a comment or reach out to me directly. Thank you. Have a great day.